And I think a lot of people see the same thing I see that I don't think Powell yet sees, which is that the economy's weak and about to get a lot weaker. When you look at
Hmm.
housing, you look at the inventories in the Walmarts and Targets of the world. You look at some of the regional Fed numbers, et cetera. It's all pointing to certainly an inventory correction, and I think a lot of weakness. So I think people are adding two and two and saying, Powell's may not yet understand how weak things are, but between now and September, there's going to be a lot of data that's going to point them in that direction. In terms of that tweet, basically, it was clear to me. I mean, the market ran with his comments yesterday, and I heard a lot of talk that people are saying, he's really showing that he's ready to pivot or starting to ease up on things. I didn't hear that so much. I think what may have gotten the market going or gotten people a little excited is that he said we're no longer giving forward guidance and we're going to go meeting to meeting. And I think a lot of people see the same thing I see that I don't think Powell yet sees, which is that the economy's weak and about to get a lot weaker. When you look at
Hmm.
housing, you look at the inventories in the Walmarts and Targets of the world. You look at some of the regional Fed numbers, et cetera. It's all pointing to certainly an inventory correction and I think a lot of weakness. So I think people are adding two and two and saying, Powell's may not yet understand how weak things are, but between now and September, there's going to be a lot of data that's going to point them in that direction, which probably means we may have seen, even though he said no, or likely no, I think we may have seen uh, the last hike for a while. And
You
I
think
have a
so?
feeling, yeah, I mean, he could hike in September, but if the weakness is as much as I think it is going to be in the next 2 months, they're probably going to pause. I don't know about a true pivot, but I think a pause is coming. So that may be what the market's sniffing out. I'm not sure. But I do, I've been pretty critical of Powell because I think he is so, as I said in another tweet, he got burnt by his whole transitory focus on inflation
Hmm.
at the end of last year, and then he's been playing catch up all this year. And I think he's just overly focused on inflation because it hurt his credibility. And I think as a result, that plus the Fed's tendency to look at headline data, which is backward looking, I think he's missing all the signals that are forward looking, leading indicator type signals saying, yeah, things are slowing down, but they're about to get a lot slower. And as a result, I think he's going to be, as the Fed always seems to be, a little late to the party, a little late to the recognition. And, it's not a question of whether they'll catch up. I just think they're over tightening as a result. I think he's blind to what's going on. I mean, I think he thinks he's going to engineer a soft landing. And
Hmm.
I think we've already moved, as I say, the seeds are sown for a global bust. I think we've already moved past a soft landing in terms of policy. And again, that seems funny to say when you're only at, 2.5 interest rates. I mean, but the the bond market had such a dramatic increase in rates over just a few months' time. It's that rate of speed of rate of change of policy that I think has really clamped down on the economy. I mean, all you have to do is look at housing. When a mortgage rate goes from 2.75% to 6% in a matter of months, of course you're going to impact. I mean, people were paying a lot of money for houses because they were getting money so cheap, and all of a sudden that cheap money went away.
Hmm.
And it's not just housing; it's the refi. Refi was a big source of people
Hmm.
spending. So I mean, that's totally gone. So, I mean, I just don't think for some reason Fed Fed governors focus on that stuff. That to me seems like economics 101. And yet they seem to react to headline numbers. When the street gets all excited about a CPI number, they get all excited about a CPI, excited meaning worried. Particularly, they've got hundreds of economists. I mean,
Hmm.
it's not like they lack for data, right? Anything we can see, they see 10 times the amount. So maybe they get overwhelmed with the data and as a result ignore it and pay attention to
Hmm.
the noise out there. Um,
Right.
Certainly, it's a political situation. I mean, I'm sure he's hearing from the Biden administration, but
For
I mean,
sure.
Elizabeth Warren was on yesterday slamming. I actually, for once in my life, I think I agreed with her that they were going too far. But so it's not like they don't have data. But I think yes, they're way too tuned into the street and the noise. And I will say this isn't the first time. For a long time, back in the 2008, 2009 period, and ever since, have said we wouldn't have had Lehman if Paulson hadn't listened to the street.
Mm-hmm.
The street spent many months after Bear Stearns saying, "Don't do another one. That's you're going to cause moral hazard." Right? Paulson did what the street told him to do, and then they got mad at him when everything fell apart, or they blamed him. He was stupid enough to think the street knows what they're doing. We know better, right? We know the street oftentimes gets things wrong.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race. You're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.